Well, Iran expert Soleimani joins me now from Melbourne. Thank you very much for speaking to us. We've seen that absolutely huge volume of people taking to the streets in Tehran. In a country that is very divided, has this assassination managed to unite the population?
Well, it's rather ironic because the United States, Donald Trump, has managed to do what even the Iranian government could not do, and that's unite the population under the flag, especially after November and those protests which killed hundreds of people. The country was very, very divided. People were very angry about the response from security forces. The parliamentary elections are coming up. The voter turnout was expected to be very low. Many people are apathetic. They've lost faith in their politicians and politics. But what we see now is a country that has united behind the flag. They, of course, everybody has a different reason for being out there. Some people are legitimately mourning, others are angry, others are there to show patriotism. But as we can see, I think right now, Iran is probably the most united it's been since those days before the revolution.
So I'm just going to pause you right there because we can go live to Tehran now to speak to our reporter, Hamid-Reza Homayounifar, if we can pull up him. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Now, do bear with us because we may struggle with the picture and the sound. Clearly, it's almost a chaotic scene behind you there. Can you just tell us what's planned for today's commemorations?
Hi, Rosie. Well, basically, today is the third funeral held for the murdered Quds Force commander, General Soleimani, in Tehran. And around, I think, like 2 million people have come here, even more, maybe. There are no exact estimate of that. But basically, today, right now, people are chanting basically slogans against the United States of America, Israel, and they are asking for harsh revenge, and they're condemning any type of negotiations or maybe any type of talking with the West or agreement. Right now, they are walking with the corpses and the coffins to the airport in order to send them back to to send them to the fourth city, which is Kerman, the hometown of General Soleimani, for the final funeral, which will be tomorrow. I need to say that yesterday morning, as well as yesterday afternoon, there were two other funerals in two other cities of Ahvaz and Mashhad, and like millions of people joined those funerals as well.
Just give us a bit of an indication as to the mood of the crowd, because we just heard from Soleimani that actually this has almost united the population. How are people feeling? Are they angry? What are the people around you saying?
Well, basically, right now I'm in front of the University of Tehran, the place for people's gathering. And what I can tell you is people are, in fury. They are angry. They're they keep chanting, even like when some people belonging to the government or the cabinet of Rouhani, I'd better say, just were walking into the funeral ceremony. They were chanting things such as "shame on you" or "we don't want negotiations" and "we want harsh revenge." People are in fury. A lot of people are crying, and they are holding cards saying down to the U.S. and Israel, and they want harsh revenge. And they're even asking, because when commanders of IRGC were walking in, they were asking for revenge. That is what people here want.
Hamid-Reza Homayounifar, live in Tehran. Thank you very much for speaking to us amidst the crowds there. Well, let's go back to Iran expert Soleimani, who joins us now. Soraya, we've just heard that Hamid-Reza said the people he's been speaking to, they say they want revenge. And that's something we've heard echoed from the leadership. They've reiterated that they're going to have harsh revenge. So what's going on behind the scenes in the Iranian leadership? Are there any indications of what that retaliation, what their next move might be?
Well, there have been a few indications. We know when Soleimani was assassinated in that drone strike, the Supreme National Security Council met almost immediately. That is the highest decision-making body in the country. The Supreme Leader chaired that meeting, that extraordinary session there. The details of what exactly they decided on, however, have not been made public necessarily. It's a very sensitive, I suppose, decision-making organization, as I said, the highest levels of that country. But we've also heard from the defense minister saying that Iran will respond in kind to this strike. The United States has taken out a military asset, an Iranian military asset, and Iran will return the favor. So that possibly means they're looking at assassinating an American military figure or an American base. But I will point out this could also just be rhetoric. The Iranian government is not suicidal. The supreme leader is not a risk taker. I'd say they are being as rational as they can be, trying to take a measured response. They don't want to enter into some kind of a war because Iran knows in a conventional war, they are absolutely no match for the United States.
Yes, well under pressure to make some kind of diplomatic response. We heard from the leader of Hezbollah. They said that Friday's killing marks a new phase in history for the region. How might Hezbollah be involved in coordinating any kind of retaliation?
Well, Hezbollah has been, of course, very active since the 1980s. Hezbollah is, of course, related to Iran. However, in recent years, it has, I suppose, emerged from the Iranian shadow and the control of those Iranian forces and really become its own entity. And there's a lot of signs from within Hezbollah that they don't take orders from the Iranians like they used to do. Of course, it's also part of the Lebanese political sphere and popular among certain aspects of Lebanese society. It's been very active, of course, in Syria. As we know, in the Syrian civil war, they're propping up the Assad regime. But Hezbollah can, of course, put a lot of pressure on the Israeli state. Hezbollah, of course, being a declared enemy of Israel. The Israelis have been clapping about this assassination of Soleimani. Certainly no friends of his. So I think Hezbollah can certainly put pressure on Israel through the usual sorts of sources, for example, in Golan Heights, rocket attacks and so on and so forth. But this really all assumes any of these sides want to escalate a conflict. And I don't think right now we've seen any sign from the Iranians or even Hezbollah that that's the case.